What is a tense? Tense means a different forms of verbs will be available in the tense. So, in a simple terms, what is tense is, tenses are a set of forms of verbs that indicate the time. Tenses are set of forms of verbs which indicates time. This is the abbreviation of the tense. Now, what are all the key parts, what are all the main parts we have in tenses? In tenses, we have majorly three parts. Present tense, past tense, and future tense. Present tense, which is currently going on, is called as present tense. Then past tense, which is already completed long back, that is past tense. Future tense, which is going to happen, this is called as future tense. So, tenses are set of forms of verbs which indicates time. So, there are three parts of tenses we have, which is present tense, past tense and future tense. Present tense, which is currently going on, past tense, which is already completed long back, and future tense, which is going to happen, which is future. So, now I will tell you what are all the subdivisions of each and every tense. Present, past, future. Simple present, simple past and simple future tense. This is the first category subdivision. And second category, present continuous. Present continuous. Next, past continuous. Future continuous. The third category, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect. The fourth and the last category, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous. So, these are the subcategories under present, past and future. So, in present, tense, we have four tenses, which is simple present, present continuous, present perfect and present perfect continuous. When it comes to past tense, again four parts: simple past, past continuous, past perfect, past perfect continuous. Future, which is simple future, future continuous, future perfect, future perfect continuous. So in this, what are the main verb forms we use when we are using in sentences? If we are knowing the verb, what is the verb we use in present tense, what is in past tense, what is in future tense, that is very easy to understand how to speak in English. Continuous. Example, present tense. Overall I am going to talk about present tense. So as I told you in the previous sessions, in the simple present we always speak about the regular works, our daily habits or the universal truths in this tense. Simple present, in a simple example, the abbreviation is daily habits, regular works which you usually do, regular works, universal truths, we explain in simple present, we talk in simple present. So now the form of the simple present, subject plus verb plus object. This is the form of the sentence. Now, sun rises in the east. Sun rises in the east is a universal truth. It never changes. So, sun always rises in the east. Rises is the verb. This is subject. Rises in the verb. Sun, east is object. So, this is the formation of the sentence for simple present. Sun sets in the west. This is also universal truth. Now, regular habits. I eat chocolates. She eats chocolates. I also singular, she also singular, but why the verb is having s and why it is not having s, I already told you. Third person singular is will have the s in the end of the verb. First person singular, second person singular will not have s at the verb. Only third person singular is having an extra s or es in the last of the s verb. She eats chocolates. You eat chocolates. So in elaborative way, again I will explain you what is the first person, second person and third person after explaining the simple present completely. So now my habit, I eat chocolates, I read books, this is my habit, I watch TV. In the same way, there are some more examples for simple present. So whichever is our regular habits, daily do works and the universal truths, we speak in simple present only. So we are having the examples now for simple present tense. Simple present, what is the formation of the sentence? Subject plus verb plus object. So if this is first person, second person, this will be subject plus verb plus object. If this is third person, these are talking about singulars, I am not talking about the plural. Singular, third person, verb plus yes or es plus object. So if it is plural, for all plurals of terms which is first person, second person and third person, first, second or third, we have verb plus object. So remember guys, whenever we are talking about the he, she or it, we need to add the s or es in the end of the verb. That is he or she or anything. This is I and you. This is we, you, they, them. Got it, right? So next time whenever we are talking in simple present, we need to check the verb how we are talking. So now we'll go for the examples. What we have, simple present examples. 5 example on each person we do. First person, I drink coffee. I drink coffee. This is first person singular. I ride bicycle. I go to school. I like movies. I speak a lot. It's my habit. I speak a lot. These are 5 examples for some first person singular. First person singular examples here which we speak in simple present. Now second person, you sleep more. It's your habit I am talking about. The person who is in front of me is the second person. So second person singular, whenever I am talking about a person in front of me, we speak with you, subject plus verb plus object. You sleep more. You like chatting. You watch horror movies or comedy movies, whichever it is. Horror movies. You eat biryani. You like red color. So these are the examples for first person and second person singular. When it comes to third person singular, what are the verb, how it changes, you can see now. Third person singular, as I told, he or she or it or any person name, it comes under third person only. So now cow eats grass. So there is a s added to cow eats because cow is a third person singular. Lion roars loudly. Lion is third person singular, so s has been joined to the roaring. Dog runs fast. So how the dog runs fast. S added to the verb. She watches serials. My mom watches serials. If I am talking about my mom, she is a third person singular, so I will add es to the verb. He drives slowly. He drives slowly. So yes has been added. So if you observe, all the verbs has got it added with yes or es. This is called third person singular. So when we are talking about the plural for all first person, second person and third person, all the persons, how we write the sentence? Subject plus verb plus object. We go park daily. We go park daily. We want to play in the evening, so we are going to park daily. So this is our habit, regular work. So we do tell in simple present. So we is a plural. So first person plural. So go park daily. There is no s is added in the verb. You should observe it. Only third person singular, we add s or es in the verb. You go movies a lot. You go to movies a lot, so that you can write it down. And they like coffee. The group of people likes coffee. They go to college. The group of people sitting there, they are college students. So how they tell? They go to college. So again, we sleep on this bed. We sleep on this bed. So when the brother and sister, when brothers are there, when they are sharing the bed, how they tell? We sleep on this bed. This is our bedroom. We sleep on this bed. So how we explain? So simple present, we always say the sentence whichever is our regular habits, our daily doing works, and the universal truths we tell in simple present. Subject plus verb plus object. So in this condition, first person singular, second person singular, and first person, second person, third person plural will be having the same kind of formation of the sentence. But when it comes to third person singular, we have s or es has to be added in the verb. This ends the simple present, how we express in our sentences. In the coming session, I will explain you what are the remaining present continuous, what is present continuous, how we form the sentences, what are all going to add in the sentence, and remaining things. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.